Welcome, everyone. My name is Katie Chappelle. I am Size Digital Marketing and Social Media Coordinator. Today, we are doing our first of two sessions for the alumni panels of All About Travel Tips. We are joined today by two alumni, Christian and Balbina. They are also Sci ambassadors and have recently studied with us. So our ambassador program allows students to be able to join things like this and share their own experiences with other students, as well as do things like study abroad fairs and stuff like that with us. And then also learn about international ed. Well, do you guys mind sharing just a brief little bit about yourself and what program you guys did?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
That's hilarious. Go ahead, Bobina.
that is so funny. Okay, I guess I have to start. Hi everyone, my name is Balbina. I graduated actually from Baylor in last May,
Congratulations.
yeah, this May, and I studied abroad with Sci in the spring of 2025. And I went to Paris for 6 months, which was amazing.
Love.
Yeah.
Um, while he rejoins, Christian went to the College of William and Mary in spring 2025, and went studied with us in spring 25 at John Cabot in Rome. So I promise you, Christian, I am trying to add you. um, okay, well,
Oh, hello.
maybe it's just gonna need a full refresh. There we go. Um, okay. Um, Bobina, do you have any websites or apps in particular that you used while you were looking for affordable travel options?
Um, let's see.
I know
Skyscanner
it's like
was.
a let's go straight to it kind of
Oh,
question.
no, no, you're so good. Skyscanner was pretty much my best friend for
Yep.
flights. And then, because it'll list like all of the flights that are available and with which company. So I definitely took a
Hmm.
lot of like EasyJet flights and like stuff like that of companies that I didn't even really know existed, but they turned out to
Sure.
be great flights either way. Um, and then I did like for inside of France specifically, I used SNCF Connect a lot for trains and stuff, especially when I was in the south. We stayed in Nice for a week and then kind of just like did day trips to everywhere
Okay.
along the coast, which was amazing. And yeah, so those I think those are the two that I use the most.
Well, Christian, do you have any apps? Welcome back.
Yes, sorry about the crash.
No.
Yeah, websites and apps. I know a lot of people like to use Skyscanner for flights. And then I think now especially it's pretty easy if you want to use AI. I think you could actually look up on AI, like find me
Mhm.
the most affordable flight from here to here on this day. And I think people have been having some good results. It'll spit out some good answers for that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Skyscanner is like the big one for travel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've also heard that Google Flights is
Mhm.
sometimes gives really good results. I haven't tried that one yet, but I've heard
You
of
can
it.
track things pretty well on there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you can get like notified when it gets lower, things like that.
Mm.
Okay, great. Do you, yesterday or Monday in the budgeting meeting, in the budgeting panel, we talked a lot about, money in general, but then also how to save. We did have some questions about coming up and traveling on a budget, things like that. Do you guys have a big tip for saving money while you're also on a budget and traveling?
I mean,
It's hard.
when it comes to like the travel aspect, I think really compartmentalizing it by
Hmm.
trip. Because if you kind of go in knowing, okay, I want to spend, like this is kind of how much I want to spend in general, then really kind of say, okay, well, if I'm planning on taking X amount of trips, then that means I should probably spend this much money per trip.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of, you want to go into each trip with a rough idea of what you're looking to spend. And I know sometimes you will have to kind of make sacrifices. Like I tend to spend a lot more on food just because
Mhm.
I'm always eating. So then I know personally that means I'm going to have less money to buy a souvenir.
Sure. Sure. I was gonna say on the food aspect, I know when I travel, I try to think of, okay, how much money do I spend on food on a normal basis? Let's aim for that, and then we'll
Right.
we'll adjust throughout the day. Um, and then the problem is also when you have an idea of what you want to get for a souvenir from that place. Um, and you're looking for it but you can't find it. For example, one of my friends when I studied abroad was she got an ornament in every location that she traveled to, so she knew that's my one souvenir I'm getting this trip. If I find something else, fine. But we made it a mission and all of us went in on it as well. We need to go to a souvenir shop or a little pottery shop or something and find her an ornament. Um, so we knew that was the one thing she was getting and we all went for it to help. Um,
I would
okay.
say that's honestly a pretty good tip.
Yeah.
Because I do something kind of similar. But I will say this, like that's something that I a tip that I have is like don't get frustrated if you don't
Sure.
find it or if you don't find it right
Absolutely.
away, because I have definitely done that before of like I just felt like I was never gonna find it and like we were leaving
Hmm.
soon or whatever, so I just bought whatever and quite literally like maybe an hour later I found
Uh-huh.
exactly what I was looking for. So yeah, kind of just be patient because that stuff always happens.
Absolutely. Especially if you
Yeah.
have like something in mind of what you want to
Yes.
get.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah. So and especially if it's even if you have something in mind of how your weekend's going to go, let's be real. If you're traveling with a group of people, it's probably not going to happen the way that you want it to go because you're going to have as many people in this group of opinions to think of. Um, okay. How did you guys choose where to travel for a weekend in particular? Did you plan ahead on it or did you pretty much go with the flow on like, oh, there's cheap train tickets or flights or wherever here for the weekend, should we go kind of thing?
I think it was, at least for me, it was a mix. I know there were a couple, I kind of found a group of friends to travel with, and everybody would kind of put in their kind of one spot they really wanted to go.
Hmm.
Um, and then we would try and work around that. But I know we took a weekend trip to Barcelona, and that was a very last minute plan. It was getting towards the end of the semester, and we were thinking, oh, it would be nice to do one more trip outside of our host country, which was Italy.
Hmm.
Um, and so we were able to find some affordable flights there, and that was a kind of go with the flow type of plan. I remember
Sure.
getting there and not knowing really what I was going to do and just kind of figuring it out. But other things that you are really like top of your bucket list, it's good to go in with a plan.
Absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
I no, you're good. I would say that it also kind of really depends on like your personality and who you
Sure.
are. Like I am definitely for flights specifically or like trips or whatever, I like to plan a little bit more and kind of like just have it there. Once I actually get there, I'll just go with the flow, like
Hmm.
see what I feel like doing that day, stuff like that. Unless it's stuff that like I know sells out. Like for example, we took a
Sure.
trip to Amsterdam and it was April, so I knew that like the festival was gonna
Hmm.
sell out. So that's the one thing that I think that we definitely did book in advance. Everything else, we're like, can we go into this museum? It's full. Okay, fine, fine. Like, and we kind of just moved on. Um, but even then we still got into a decent amount of
Hmm.
things. The only thing we didn't get into was the Anne Frank house because that's and we tried getting tickets in advance for that. That one's hard. Um,
I
but
was the
yeah,
opposite. I didn't get in. I got into the Anne Frank house, but I didn't get into the Van Gogh Museum. And
so
I was like,
between the two of us, we have the full experience. So.
exactly. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm not getting a souvenir for my roommate who is obsessed with Van Gogh or, something like that.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
get it.
So it really just depends on stuff like that. But like either way, I think that
Hmm.
you will be fine. You can find cheap last minute stuff,
Hmm.
and you can also find cheap stuff if you plan ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a great point of like you could plan around one particular thing that you really want to do and then make up the rest as you go along. I
sure.
remember me and some friends went to Frankfurt in Germany because there was this concert that I saw was going to be there. I was like, I really want to go see that. And so we kind of planned the whole trip around that. But then you're also in Frankfurt. You're in a completely
Hmm.
new city. So we got to explore and kind of make up our plan along the way just because there was something that was really interesting there.
Yeah. For example, I did a spring break trip that were it was 5 cities in 10 days. One of the cities was Berlin, and I knew like the hot spots that were going to be there. We also didn't realize that we were going to be in Berlin on a Sunday, and a lot of museums are closed on Sundays. So we like go to the museums and we're like, okay, let's go walk around and see what's open. There was one of the five that were on this little section that was open. We went into the one. It happened to be, we were like, okay, cool. Like it's artifacts and stuff. We're like, cool, let's just walk around and see what's here. We turn the corner and this security guard looks at us and says, hey, and immediately clocked that we were American. Hey, ladies, you're gonna have to put your phones away for this. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Not thinking anything of it. We turned the corner and it was the bust of Nefertiti. And we're like, well, we weren't expecting to see that today.
Wow.
We weren't expecting to see something that we've only seen in our textbooks for years. So, it's also very fun to just kind of explore and see what is available and be surprised by things as well. Did you guys were both semester students, so did you travel most weekends or did you, like, how often did you guys travel throughout your semester? I think I traveled maybe twice a month, like
Yeah,
every
that
other week
that
Hmm.
almost.
sounds about right.
Yeah, I remember I did a
Except for the month of
couple.
spring break, because I like took a
Right,
bigger
then
trip.
you do a bunch of traveling over spring
Yeah.
break. Yeah, but I also tried like on the weekends where I wasn't going out of my host country to at least go somewhere new, either just within the city of
Sure.
Rome or, a couple cities over because it's very affordable to stay within country. Um, so I remember doing a weekend trip out to Pescara, which is on the
Mhm.
eastern side. It's not too far from Rome, and it was pretty affordable to get out there. So, you don't always have to leave the country when you do a
Mhm.
weekend trip. You could just go somewhere new, even within your own city is cool. Like go to a
Yeah.
neighborhood you've never been to, try a new restaurant, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I'm not going to say that's the point of study abroad, but like it is definitely a huge like benefit or just
Yeah.
something really cool that you're living in the city for a semester, and if you can know it like really really well, like it's your hometown, I think that's like a really huge flex. So definitely
Mhm.
do like I had a lot of friends, or not a lot of friends, but some friends that did study abroad, and they traveled every single weekend, and they were only there during the week for school.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, oh, okay, but what's your favorite part of your host city? And then they said, well, I don't know. I kind of like knew a couple cafes and like that because on my way to school, but that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's like kind of crazy. I'm pretty confident I can get to my favorite spots in Paris without using maps right now because
sure.
because I took the time during the weekends to just those weekends that I wasn't traveling, um, to
And
just go
to
out and
preface
explore the
this,
city.
to preface that for your future, I just went back a couple of months ago for the first time in almost 10 years since I studied abroad. Uh,
Oh, that's right. You were going
yeah,
back. I remember
the
talking about
city,
this.
the city completely different but totally the same. And so you're like walking through and you're just like, okay, I know where this is, I know how to get here, but I'm going to pull up a map just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case I need a refresh of like how many streets is it, because I know it's this direction but I don't remember exactly how many streets it is. So you'll being able to know the city like the back of your hand, your home host city is such a flex too, because then
It
when you're showing
really is
people
a
around you're
flex.
just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why I wouldn't recommend like traveling every single weekend because at that point, I was in Paris, but I have no idea like about anything cool in Paris. It's a crazy statement
Yeah.
to make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. What were your go-to modes of transportation? Did you guys specifically take more trains or budget airlines or buses? There's a lot more ways of transportation in Europe than here. So, what were your guys' go-to when it came to travel or just in general?
Trains are your best friends. I
Hmm.
mean, it's obviously if you're going, Rome to Paris or something like that, you're probably going to take a flight. But trains, I mean, they could get you so many places, whether it's from your apartment to the airport or to the main central hub station, but
Hmm.
also city to city. And it's good to just kind of get comfortable, uh, getting to the train station, finding your platform, getting right there.
Hmm.
You will, if you're not comfortable with it now, you're gonna get comfortable with it. And it's great for every country you're in. I know we did train from Frankfurt to Berlin. We did a train from Disneyland Paris into the city of Paris.
Hmm.
It's really just gonna take you so many places. So just get used to checking train websites. If you're in Italy, Trenitalia is the way to
Hmm.
go. So yeah.
Yeah, I for day-to-day life, just like the subway, the metro is was my best friend. Sorry, I went to a thing a little bit ago and my voice is kind of gone. But yeah, and especially because my apartment where I was living, I got
Hmm.
so lucky that I had literally a block away, three different subway lines. Um,
Oh.
and like half a block away in the other direction, I had a bus stop as well. So
Hmm.
it was amazing for day-to-day life. And it's so fast. I actually made it to class on time when I landed like 40 minutes earlier that same day. Um, but for travel, kind of like I said earlier, planes were my best friend.
Yeah,
But definitely like if you're staying within a single country, you can just look up um, oh my God, a train somewhere, and it's
yeah.
probably going to be cheaper than flying if you're staying in the country.
Absolutely. I definitely will say it also all depends on what city you're in.
True.
If you are, because Florence is a smaller airport, so there's not as many flights international or during the day compared to Rome or Paris or Milan or
Mhm.
Barcelona, where they are very large airports. But also, if you're in Milan and you want to go to Germany or Switzerland or Austria, just take the train because it's right there. Um, so we're definitely look and see what is closest and what might be easiest for you. If you could look back at your time abroad, is there anything different that you would do completely different with your travel plans?
I only have one. I only have one change, and it would be when I went to Barcelona. It was a little bit of a last minute plan, but I really should have looked into tickets for the Sagrada Familia, that
Mm-hmm.
huge, huge cathedral. Because I remember walking up and they said, "Sorry, we're sold out." for
Yeah.
like the next few weeks. So there was no chance I was getting in on that weekend. But that's really the
Yeah.
only thing I regret.
Definitely do the touristy things in your home city as well. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because I realized it wasn't until the week before I left that I was in Florence for 4 months and had not gone to go see not gone to go see the David until a week before I left. He was a block away from me the entire time, and I had no clue. So, like, you just, it's just things like that where you're just like, oh, yeah, I have some free time. Let's just go do a touristy thing right now.
Yeah.
Check it off the
Um,
list.
yeah, for sure. The one thing I wish I did, like travel wise, was rebook um Berlin simply because
Hmm.
I still have that like that itch that like I can't that I
Hmm.
didn't go because we were quite literally at the gate at the airport and they were like, oh, the flight's gonna be delayed for a little bit and we said, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then like 20 minutes later they said, actually, never mind, this flight's canceled, it's not taking off, everybody
Oh,
go home.
no.
And we were just like, what the hell? But me and my friend really, really, really wanted to go. And it was just gonna be us two meeting up with a friend of hers that was living there.
Yeah.
And we never rebooked it. So I wish we had because I really to this day I still want to go to Berlin.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
highly, the one thing that I regret is not going to visit my friends who are studying abroad in their hometown, so that I could explore that city with someone that I know who lives there now. So I get it.
Yeah.
If you, for any of the future students, especially this fall and spring who might be watching, what is a piece of advice that you would give about making the most of travel? I can tell you mine if it helps.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okay. Mine is I made it a mission when I studied abroad to go to the places that I knew I would probably never go back to again. Um, because I was like, what are the chances I know I'm gonna go back to the UK. I'm not gonna go to the UK. I'll make the effort to go to that in the future.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go during these 4 months when I'm gonna be cramming it all in one weekend. Um, I'll go to the places like Amsterdam or Berlin or Prague where I probably won't get the chance to go back to again or won't, they weren't really on the top of my list at the beginning and now I'm like, oh, I love the city, I want to go back, or that kind of thing. So I, especially because I only did spend 2 days in each location, so definitely um go to the places that you probably won't get the chance to go back to or won't make the effort to go back to, because you're still going to make the effort to go to the places you really want to go, but now you just might have more places to add to your list, to revisit later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a really great tip because that's and I don't like that's exactly why I didn't go
Hmm.
to London
Hmm.
because it's I knew I'll be back in London at some point. It's fine. But so
This last trip that I took, I realized how short and how easy the flight is to London, and I was like, "Oh, wow, this will be a breeze." And when I go next time, it's fine. I'll definitely make the trip.
yeah, exactly. But kind of along with that, like that reminded me of something. I would say do cities that you think are like semi-possible to do in a weekend or to mostly do in a weekend. London, I would argue, is a city that you cannot do in a weekend
Yeah.
because it is just, it's so big and everything, all of the touristy things are so spread out and you don't even realize it.
Hmm.
That is like at least a 4 day thing, in my opinion. Um, so maybe if you have like a longer weekend there and you don't think you're going back, but again, it's a pretty big city. I think it's one of those that you can make the effort to go all the way back to for. And oh, I had another point. It's okay if you want to go first, Christian, and I'll do it then later.
I mean, yeah, I would just say like when you're traveling, just pedal to the metal like the whole time. Like you're gonna be tired. That's to be expected. But you also don't know when you're gonna be back in whatever
Hmm.
city or location you're visiting. So just go and do as
For the
much as
price that you've
possible.
paid, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. So like go live it up. If you miss out on some sleep, it's worth it for a weekend, and then you come back, you do your classes,
Sleep
you
on the
get
plane.
exactly you could sleep on the plane, which is fantastic.
You will
Uh,
knock out, I promise.
yes, as soon as you sit down, if you've done your traveling right, you'll pass right out.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of we over spring break. Our spring break was like 2 weeks long, so we planned that in
Mm-hmm.
advance. And I was trying to advocate a little bit for spending a little bit more time in Edinburgh.
Hmm.
But people had other priorities, other things that they really wanted to do. So we only ended up spending one night there and then leaving on a flight really late the next night.
Yeah,
But since we landed and by pure luck or I don't know what happened, we got on a bus that was basically all windows. And so all of my friends that I was going with saw how beautiful the city was and they were
yeah,
like, screw it. Like we're taking as soon as we get to the hostel, we are taking maybe a 2 hour nap and then we're going somewhere.
totally.
And that's exactly what we did. So we did a hike and then got breakfast, went back home, took the quickest showers of our lives, I think, and then just walked around, Victoria Street and all that fun
Hmm.
stuff, and walked the entire city until we had to go back, and we were running back to our hostel to get our bags and to go to the airport. Um, but it's just, it's so worth it. Yes, you're gonna be a little bit tired, coffee, coffee, sleep on the plane. As long as you're not doing it regularly, like that was a one-time thing that we were going
Sure.
off of 2 hours. You will be fine. Um, but the other thing that I wanted to say is like kind of how we were saying that other people have their priorities, quite literally take an agenda or a calendar or whatever you want and write down like, okay, this weekend I know that this is happening. If there's a
Mhm.
concert that you want to go to, kind of like Christian did with Frankfurt, if there's a concert you want to go to or something like the tulips in Amsterdam that happens during a specific season,
We had
write
a
that
student
down
this
and
summer
yeah,
travel to London to go see Harry Styles in the middle of their term.
it
Like, do
exactly.
it.
You can do it. Just
And the
stuff like that.
concerts are, like everything else, a little less expensive over there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, take advantage of that.
yeah, and
We
just
had people
write
last
those.
summer go to Taylor Swift. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't
Oh,
Yep.
go to the,
100%.
I don't also blame them at all for going.
No. Yeah, but just kind of write those down. And then when, you're talking to your friends about it, be like, listen, these are like my two or three that I am going with or without
Hmm.
people. You're more than welcome to join me. That's what I did. And I think that that's good because it really, um, you get your list and you get your what you wanted to do. And
Sure.
but obviously go with the flow with everything else, but like have maybe one to two things that are like, I am going and do whatever you need
Absolutely.
to do to get there.
Did you guys find it fairly easy to balance your travel with all of your schoolwork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I have never had that much of an urge or rush to do homework immediately after class.
Yes, exactly.
Then when I knew that I had a trip coming up that weekend, like that was yeah. You,
For
It's
your
you
guys'
great
schoolwork,
incentive to
yeah, it
to
really is.
finish your work early. Yeah.
For your
exactly.
guys' schoolwork, was it mostly, I know for myself, it was mostly project based or paper based. What were your guys' homeworks like? I know this is a not a
It was
travel
about the
question, but
same, mostly projects. If there
yeah.
was homework, it was because I had to work on a project, whether that was solo presentation, group
Hmm.
presentation, or every once in a while I would have a paper to write. But I don't think I really did any work while I was traveling because yeah, the I knew I really want to enjoy my trip, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all my schoolwork during the week, and
Hmm.
then when the weekend comes, it's travel time.
Yeah, that is the exact same mindset that I had going into it. Um, and I do think that I had more. Two of my classes required more essays than
Hmm.
anything else. One of them was projects, but like really small weekly projects. And then the other one was unfortunately a finance class. So like there's really no way around that one other than just exams and
Yeah. I
problems
guess
and
that
stuff.
also all truly depends on what kind of classes you're taking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my two classes that required essays were a film class and a history
I
class.
I was gonna say I had a history
Hmm.
class that was a paper.
Yeah, exactly. So it really does depend on what type of, yeah, what type of
I was a
classes you're
communications
taking.
major, so my major classes were all like presentation based because, we had
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Um, okay, did traveling during your semester um change how you guys see the world in general or how you travel now? Or can you guys speak a little bit about how important traveling was to during that term to you looking back at it?
Yeah. You become way more comfortable with just kind of adapting to any
Mhm.
situation, especially if you're hopping around country to country. Everywhere is so different, that you learn to kind of pick up on obviously the big differences, but even the subtle differences,
Sure.
how people act, just kind of the daily flow of life, and being able to kind of adapt to any environment. It just makes you so much more comfortable in daily life. You don't have to stick to an exact routine. And then if something gets messed up, you don't freak out because you're like, oh, well, I was, you know, in some, I landed at Frankfurt Hahn Airport, which is way further than Frankfurt than I thought. Um, so how do we get to Frankfurt? And then you
Yeah.
just kind of adapt and figure it out. And then when something else goes wrong, you're like, well, if I made it to Frankfurt from Frankfurt
Mhm.
Hahn, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Which speaking of, and I will answer that question in a second.
Yeah.
Never land in Beauvais Airport or whatever that's called. Go to CDT or Lee. There is absolutely no reason you need to go to the third Paris airport because that thing is not in Paris. It is so expensive to get back into the city from there.
Hmm.
Uh, don't do it.
That's so
But
funny.
yeah, but anyways, to answer your question, I will say that I have been very lucky in life, and I am very, very, very grateful to my parents,
Hmm.
because we have traveled a lot as a family.
Hmm.
So kind of what you were talking about, Christian, of like, experiencing the flow of life and like all of that stuff has, or just like observing daily life in another city or country has
Sure.
kind of been. Um, just a thing that we do every single time that we travel as a family, right? So I wouldn't say that I got that from study abroad, but what I did get from abroad is that these are my first times doing solo trips, and so
Hmm.
that was because before I used to always kind of not rely on, but just double check with friends on where we were going or double check with my family like, hey, we said that we were doing this at this time, like we gotta go, all that stuff. But now having to do it by yourself, it really gives you a lot of like a bigger sense of responsibility and more
Sure.
independence and like all of that stuff. And also just to be completely honest, being comfortable being by yourself is
Yeah.
another
Hmm.
huge part of solo traveling because it's a little bit awkward to sit down at a restaurant and just say, "Oh, table for one, please." Like those
Yeah.
kinds of things that I had never done before. Um, so it's a great like challenge if you've never done it, and you're not going to realize it until you do it. But
Yeah.
it's pretty fun as well. So if you can, I would also highly recommend at least one solo trip, just a
Hmm.
weekend. You will learn
Definitely
a lot.
do a solo
Yeah,
trip. Yeah.
yeah. Or even when you're just in your city, like if nobody, for example, I didn't have school on Wednesday. The amount of times that I just went out in Paris and then like went to museums and stuff on 11 a.m. on a Wednesday because
Yeah.
nobody was there was amazing. And I feel like you learn a lot about yourself when you're intentionally spending time by yourself, not
Yeah.
doom scrolling TikTok. It's great.
Yes. Yeah. If you're alone, yeah, don't stay in. Go out and just
Go
sort
out.
of give yourself time to kind of reflect on anything. Yeah. Sit down in a cafe, go to a museum,
Hmm.
um,
It'll help you learn the
stuff like
language
that.
too.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh my gosh. It's
definitely.
so great to go out and practice the language with somebody. Yeah, watch how the locals order and then try and mimic that. Yeah.
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 or just try and keep up a conversation with someone. Don't be afraid to make a little bit of a fool of
Right.
yourself. You're
Yeah.
gonna, because honestly, and I know that the French have this reputation of like, oh, if you don't speak the language perfectly, we're gonna behead you or whatever, bring
Yeah.
out the guillotine back again. Uh, that is not the case. At least it wasn't the case anymore for me.
Mhm.
And to the point where I had a full on conversation with a florist for like 30 minutes, and this other lady that came and
Incredible.
joined for a second. And in the first 10, he asked me, he was like, I'm noticing a little bit of an accent. Like, where are you from? And it was, but the entire time he kept going in French, even after I told him that, I'm originally from Mexico and live in the
Hmm.
US. He never switched to English. So I think um, that I really want to try and just that stereotype because I don't think it's fair anymore.
It's
Just
true.
try.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people, I feel like the
It
French do have a
also
reputation. So,
truly depends on the time of the day. If they are way too busy, they're just like, it's going to be easier for both of
right.
us to just switch.
Oh yeah,
So don't worry about it. So, like, if someone's got some time, they're going to be able to do it with you.
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, so
And
that helps as well.
And I'm also going to speak about Spain for a second because,
Yep.
like, any country that speaks Spanish, if you know 3 words, we are like this close to throwing you a party, man. So like, just go. You can say like butcher the pronunciation, say the sentence structure completely wrong and everything, and we are still going to try and like help you and like
Yeah.
understand and just like yeah, like you're doing a great job because that's just like
Hmm.
the culture that comes with being a Spanish speaker. In
Sure.
most cases, in
Yeah.
most cases,
I'll
yeah,
also add that Italy, I noticed, was very similar. Like if they saw you were just putting in an effort, they loved it. I mean, I would be at a restaurant and I would try and order exclusively in Italian, and they would, oh my gosh, they're like, oh, this is fantastic. They would crack jokes. Oh, it was great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. When I was abroad, I came across a little uh um ceramic shop. The owner was a very sweet little old man, and he didn't speak a single word in English. And I was like, okay, I'm looking for something specific. I've got to try. And my mom was with me, so the two of us are trying our hardest. My mom doesn't remember anything from when I was in high school and taking Italian, and she would kind of lean over my shoulder and learn. But I was trying my hardest, and this, just from me trying, this very sweet little man said, "Here's the brochure. This is, do you have a car?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "This is the brochure to my factory. If you go to my factory, we will make your mom whatever she wants." Like, just
That's
because
so
we don't
sweet.
have it, like, we will make it, and here, just try. I was like,
Hmm.
oh my god, we have to buy something now because he's so
Yeah.
nice. um but and getting I got a mug from his shop, and it's the cutest thing on the planet, and I'm too afraid of using it, otherwise I'm gonna break it. But um that kind of thing. It You're gonna meet people who are gonna be willing to help you out just for trying. Is there one city in your home country and one country outside of your home country that you would tell every student they absolutely should visit if they had a chance?
I could go first, Christian, if you need a
Okay.
second to
Yeah. Go
think
for
about
it.
it. I I know it's like it's so cliche, but I am absolutely hopelessly in love with Paris. That
Mhm.
thing, like because I've even thought of like, oh, I can maybe go back, and even the thought of it makes me cry because I know that city a little bit too well at this point. Um,
And it's so
and
big, you're gonna find something new
and
every time
it's
you go.
so big and there's always things to do like I want to go back during a summer, god help me, right? Because it's hot, but I do want to go back during the summer and see like Bastille Day, La Fête de
Mhm.
la Musique, the thing that the firemen do, like all of that stuff. I want to go back, there is always a really, really, really strong desire for me to go back.
Hmm.
And then outside, and obviously that was my host city, but there's also just a bunch of things like we took a field trip to Giverny, to
Hmm.
Monet's house. Beautiful. Took a little day trip to Lille as well. Beautiful. Like there's inside of France, there's so many beautiful cities. Um, and then outside, the only thing that came close to Paris for me was Edinburgh. That thing,
Hmm.
I will swim back if necessary one day.
It's on
Because
my list.
like I said, I we only got to spend one night there. I want to be there for at least 3 to 4 nights and just
Yeah.
take it slow. And Scotland is beautiful. A friend of ours from that trip didn't continue the rest of the trip with us, and she kind of went solo for a minute. And all of a sudden, she's still in Scotland, and she sends us pictures of like the Highland cows or like some sheep or whatever. And we
Yeah.
were like, "What? Like, okay, girl." So yeah, I would say that those are my two.
Yeah. I'd like
Yeah.
to reinforce the Paris argument. Like that was I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I kind of knew, but I heard some people saying, "Oh, Paris is all right." I don't
Hmm.
know what made them say that because as soon as I got there, it was just, I mean, magical. Like you're walking around and it just has this great feeling in the air.
Yeah.
And I remember going up the Eiffel Tower and I was just in love with every second up there. I mean, I
Hmm.
could have spent the whole day at the top and just looking out over the view. Which does remind me, if you want to see the Eiffel Tower, I would say try and go for like 6 o'clock because you have to reserve a time. But once you reserve your time, they're not gonna really kick you out. So if you could go to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, that's kind of the perfect time because you get to see it at day, at twilight, and then if you stay
Hmm.
long enough, you'll see it at night and you'll be up there when it sparkles. And so that was wonderful. Um, but within my host country, I think everybody will go to Rome and Florence and Venice. Those are the big three, which I mean, rightfully so. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous. But if you want to try somewhere that's not as popular as those three, I do recommend Bologna. You'll
Hmm.
get some of the greatest food
Food.
that you'll probably ever eat, and
Yeah,
it's a pretty
It is the
young.
food capital, I believe, of the
Yes,
I think so.
there's a
Yeah.
lot that comes from there. It's pretty close to the Ferrari Museum if you want
country.
to check that out. It's a pretty young, hip kind of city.
It's a
Even though
college
it
town for
looks,
sure.
yeah, even though it looks so old, I mean, I think it's got the oldest Western university.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just so beautiful, and it's obviously a city, but it's not that loud hustle bustle. So if you want something a
Hmm.
little tamer, it's a great city to go and explore and just kind of hang out.
Yeah. I'll say that that's kind of the same vibe for Edinburgh. Like the second you step into downtown, it feels like you're in the Middle Ages, like about to see a dragon
Yeah.
fly by or something. So it's great, and I think I'm pretty sure they have a law that like nobody can touch the architecture. Like the city has to stay like that. So I think that that's
Yeah.
also like so cool and like a little bit unique as well that that the government goes to that extent to like protect the look of the city.
I mean, it's lasted that long. You might as well keep it for as long as you
Exactly.
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. No, but it is quite literally just like all cobblestone. It's insane. It's great.
I love it. Incredible. Well, we had some questions submitted on Instagram as well as in the form from some students. So, um, one of them is if you guys on a could are able to think back to how much you guys spent for a weekend trip, how much should someone be spending roughly for a weekend trip? Oops, sorry.
Um, I guess it will vary a
If
lot
I
person to
to me
person.
it varies based off of the person and where you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the country like some countries are more expensive than others. Some cities are a lot more expensive than
Hmm.
others.
Yes, Switzerland, I heard from people who went, was
It's
crazy.
Switzerland's very expensive.
Yeah,
Um,
Switzerland is
It was
insane.
expensive when I was there 10 years ago.
yeah.
It's gotten
Um,
worse, I can tell you that.
yeah.
But getting hot chocolate, real Swiss hot chocolate, worth it.
Worth it. Worth it.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
God.
that's
I really don't think I can give you like an exact
Yeah,
number. The only exact number I can think of right now is that I've gotten round tickets to Milan very last second for like $70
sure.
or
mhm,
something like that. And I was there for 5 days. So that's
Okay.
like it is possible. Trains are usually cheaper. Like
Sure.
I
mhm.
said, like maybe in between 15 to $20 around that area. Sounds about right. For last minute stuff.
Yeah.
Um, that's
It's
that's
a hard question.
honestly.
It's very
Yeah.
vague
Well,
I
and
and
also
wide
like we
question.
studied abroad a year ago, so like
Yeah.
that is honestly all that I remember right now. But like just go compare prices of like
Hmm.
hostels, or honestly, sometimes you can even get like a nice little hotel room for roughly the
Yeah.
same price as a hostel. So just check out all your options. There
mhm.
is no need for you to stick 100%. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm only doing hostels because it's cheaper. Not always the case.
Yeah, I will add if you're looking to save money, avoid like the ride share and taxi apps as much as you
Yes.
can because I think it's easy for us as Americans because like Uber sometimes is like the only way to really get around
Hmm.
because everything's so car based here in America. That is not your only option in Europe. And if you
Hmm.
do, and every time I had to resort to that, I was always like, whoa, that is way more expensive than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Whereas you could usually just take a train and it's way, way less
An eighth of
expensive.
the price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
yeah,
sometimes faster as well.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on for someone who does want a budget, I definitely recommend doing as many of the day trips that are Viva experiences as you possibly can, because that will give
Yes.
you the feeling of
Hmm.
going and traveling, but you're really not spending any money.
Hmm.
On that note, whether it was a Viva trip, actually, I'll say, what was your favorite Viva day trip that you guys went on? But then also, what was your favorite day trip that you guys planned yourselves?
Is she her name? Is it
Yeah,
like 100% that had to be my favorite trip? And then when did I plan myself? I'm gonna be so honest. I didn't really plan a lot of day trips by myself.
yeah,
Like, I kind of wish I did as well. But my day trips were quite literally focused on what can I see in Paris.
sure.
And I
Hmm.
did that a lot by myself. So I don't know. There's the day that I went to the Rodin Museum
Hmm.
was pretty great for me.
Yeah. Favorite Viva, I think for me would have to be um we went to Tivoli, which
Hmm.
is a pretty small town just north of Rome. I remember we had lunch at this restaurant that was like right on the edge of a cliff, and you would just look over, and it went so far down. And they were actually, when we were walking around the little town there, they were filming a Peroni advertisement. So they had like
Oh,
the
that's
film
fun.
crew out, and everybody was drinking their beers, and so we're watching all this behind the scenes stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's so fun.
Um, so that was probably my favorite Viva. And then I remember we had a day off from classes, and me and some friends just took a short, I think it was like a 40-minute train ride to a beach. Um, and it turns out, I guess the rest of John Cabot University also did that because we're sitting there on the beach and we see all these students that we recognize from our classes. So that was a great day trip. Everybody's just sitting out in the sun. Obviously, remember your sunscreen. I think I did get a little burnt that day, but
Yeah.
that was a great time.
Oh man, I am currently so sunburnt. It hurts. Just this is painful right now. So
I
yeah,
believe it.
for the love of God, wear sunscreen,
Yes, yeah.
please.
Um, did you, and they have like really great sunscreen for decent prices over there too.
This is true,
Um,
yeah.
did you guys feel safe while you were traveling?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
But out of all of the trips, because um like when I'm saying that, like, oh, I travel with my friends or whatever, this was an all girl group of maybe like we
Mm-hmm.
varied between 8 to 10 people. The only place I did not feel that's safe was Barcelona, but that was also because we got lost and we got into a very shady area of Barcelona. And out of my friends, I was the only one that spoke Spanish, so
Gotcha.
I heard a lot of catcalling. It's it
It's a
is quite
city.
it's quite literally like any it's a city. It's quite literally like anywhere else. Like if you do that in New York, that is going to happen to you in New York. You just have to
Yeah.
stay in the nice areas of town. Don't get lost like we did. And if you do end up getting lost, don't panic. Just kind of ignore everyone, and just go. Just get out of there
Download.
as soon as possible. But
Yeah.
that is quite literally the only time I had a bad experience, and it lasted no longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
mhm.
yeah.
And on that note of getting lost, definitely download the city map from Google Maps, and then you can just
Yes.
zoom in and use it like a paper map.
Yeah.
I don't know if, never mind. Like, I don't know how many people actually remember using a paper map, but um, you can just zoom in and use it that way. You can't, like, type in your location, but you can at least kind of work your way backwards.
I'll tell
Um,
you, Katie, I do remember using a paper map at some
okay, good,
point, so
good, good, good.
don't
Yeah.
worry
I don't
about
feel
it.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
old
yeah.
anymore.
No, 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 you're good. You're
Um,
good.
Is there, before we end, is there something that you guys splurged on for travel that was absolutely well worth it? We did have a student, an alumni earlier in one of the first sessions about regular tips for a good term. Her big tip was to spend the extra $15 on the better flight time so that they weren't like, sitting overnight in the airport or having a crazy layover somewhere just to have the cheaper flight. But is there something that you guys splurged on travel wise that was absolutely well worth it?
For my solo trip, I definitely did splurge a little bit on accommodations. So I
Mhm.
stayed. Sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze for a second. um, I stayed in a. Sorry. Hello.
You're all good.
I stayed in a hotel room instead of staying in a hostel, purely just because I was already going, like, first time going by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it just made me feel safer.
Yeah.
As a girl,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to just stay in a tiny little hotel room by myself rather than a hostel with who knows who.
Right.
Um, so that's the one thing that I splurged on because it was maybe a decent, good extra like $40, but I actually slept and I felt safe in my room
Yep.
and I was well rested, and I was able to go and enjoy the rest of the day, like the next day, right?
Sure.
So I think that the 10, 10, 10, and 10 paid themselves off right there, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. All the two solo trips I did, I also spent the little bit extra to stay in a real hotel room, just
Mm-hmm.
because you want that kind of peace of mind, to be like, okay,
Especially where your stuff is.
Yes.
right, yes,
God,
it's
yes.
it's in a locked room. Like if you ever feel unsafe, you could just go in, and it really is great. And then also, it's nice because sometimes they'll have little continental breakfast or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know the place in Pescara that I stayed had that, and that was, if sometimes it is cheaper to go, like, because that was a pretty like Italian hotel. They weren't really getting
Mm-hmm.
a lot of American tourists, So you do have to be wary of like if you're not going with a big hotel name, and you're going with a more local hotel, it's going to be more affordable. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't, they hardly spoke any English in that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So I really was like, it's a good thing I did that trip at the end of the semester because I was really relying on the language skills that I had built up during the semester.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that sounds about right.
That's so funny. I love it. Well, that is all the questions that I have for you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who has joined and watched today. Thank you again to Balbina and Christian for joining in. Um, we have our a next session at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific. Had to go backwards this time around. Um, all about travel tips as well. Shelby and Javian will be joining us for that one. If you do want to get in touch with either Balbina or Christian, just please let me know, and we can definitely get some more of your questions answered about Paris or Rome. And of course, also you can always send a question over to our admissions team, and they'll be able to answer that as well. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys later.
Perfect.
See you
Bye,
later.
Katie. See you.
Bye.
Bye.